Hey, it's Rachel from All About Planners. I recently got back from a 6-week trip around Europe where I hit up tons of stationery shops. My first stop was Copenhagen, so while I really wanted to go to the Flying Tiger Copenhagen store. Despite its name, you can find them pretty much in most capital cities, like the big ones across Europe, like I've seen it in Rome. They have a bit of mix of everything. So not only stationery, they have party wear, they've even got snacks, just a whole bunch of random like gift wear. Anyway, so while there, I spotted this bullet journal. It did come in other colors as well, but I really like the pink. So let's have a closer look. So first things first, it says bullet journal, but really it's just a doc read notebook. It doesn't have any index pages. The pages aren't numbered or anything. It's just really a doc read notebook that you can use for bullet journaling. The page size is fairly typical for this style of notebook, about 5.5 inches wide by about 8.5 inches high. It was about 20, I think from memory, Danish krone, which converted was about 4.5 Australian to a krone, so under 10 bucks. Now it is about, I'd say 1.5 centimeters thick, so not too fat. It's quite, not heavy, but you can feel it. So most notebooks are quite lightweight. This one is a little bit on the heavy side. It has this cool cover with the dots, and if you touch it, like I am now, you can actually feel them sort of like indented. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but anyway, it's indented. It's not just like a plain boring cover. So I thought that was quite nice. So let's have a look at the inside. So it has not bright white paper, sadly. It has more of like a cream ivory type paper. And as you can see, no page numbers, so it's just doc read pages the whole way through. There is 2 ribbon bookmarks. Sadly, they're the same color. I quite like it when planners or doc read notebooks have different color ribbons. Then you can have like, okay, blue is my monthly, and then pink is my weekly, whereas if it's the same, it can get a little bit confusing. You might actually open the wrong page. Anyway, at least there's 2 of them. Now, the Doctorate Spacing is your typical 5mm. Just grab my ruler. As you can see, 5mm doc read spacing, which is pretty typical for all doc read notebooks. The pages are laying flat on their own. If I jump to another page in the notebook, see, they're pretty much laying flat, which is good. It's not, you know, self-closing. I'm not even touching it, it's laying flat, which is good. There's no index or any of those sort of like future log, pre-done pages. They do have this little section at the back though, with some like suggested style layouts or some inspiration pages to give you some ideas. Now the paper quality, as you can see, for being a cheap notebook, to be expected, the paper quality isn't that great. Even their pre-printed stuff is showing through onto the other side of the page, and I have done a pen test which I'll show you in a minute. So they've got a variety of things like to-do lists, some headings. They're saying here you go, you can do your monthly planning, you could do a password keeper. Anyway, give you some ideas. You've probably already seen it already on like Instagram, Pinterest, but it's there if you haven't. Now for the pen test that I did, if I can just find it again, I tested my usual array of gel pens, the friction erasable, ballpoint, thicker marker pens, jewel tips, stamps, highlighters. So let's have a look at how the paper held up. So predictably there was some ghosting happening and a bit of bleed through for the thick marker pens, and of course the maybe stamps. The highlighters had some pretty bad ghosting too. So if I was going to use this notebook, I would recommend ballpoint pens, and I would go with pastel highlighters. So if you can get even lighter ones like the Stabilo Boss Pastel, I think would fare a lot better, and then you wouldn't have as much ghosting showing through to the other side. Because this notebook was quite cheap, if it really annoyed you, like that really annoys me, I don't like writing on the back side of a page when it's got like show through, then you could always just skip a page, so then, you know, like you half the amount of usable pages in the notebook. So you'd write on this page and then you'd skip the next one and you'd start writing on here. Some people think that's wasteful, but if it really annoys you, I say just do it. There's that many doc read notebooks and they're so cheap, like just get another one, and then you can keep it nice and crisp. I like writing on the fresh pages. Anyway, so tangent aside, there is also this pocket folder at the back where you can put your stickers, sticky notes, etc. It does expand quite a bit too. And then the back has the same design as the front, and it's just showing you that you've got those little decorated pages on the inside. So that is it for this notebook. It's not particularly special. There's nothing really sort of stand out about it, except for the fact that it was cheap. I like the pink cover. It's got some ribbon bookmarks, and you know what? If you want to try bullet journaling, then a basic notebook like this, without all the fancy extras, for a cheap price, this is not a bad option, especially if you're in Europe, because I know a lot of the notebooks, etc. are from the US, so if you don't want to pay for shipping, this store is pretty much everywhere across Europe, so you probably find it if you haven't already. And don't forget they have different colors too. So this one, pink, I quite liked it, but they also had like a dark blue, and I think there was a light blue as well from memory. Anyway, if you are heading to Copenhagen, I did a post where I did my favorite stationery shops, which surprisingly, well, surprising to me, there was actually quite a lot of stationery shops and lots of nice different brands that I hadn't seen before. So the link for that blog post will be in the description box below if you wanted to have a look, see what else is in Copenhagen while you're there. And don't forget to subscribe. I usually post a couple of planner review videos each week, and there will be tons of more Doctorate notebooks and planners of what I got overseas. I got about 20 notebooks, managed to fit 20 in my luggage, so there'll be lots of reviews coming soon on the YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.